And most of the top associations in this country, sports association, are ridden with politics and interference from politics, politicians, power games, corruption. How will they be able, and many of them, people here have mentioned that it is the bureaucrats and the politicians who control these associations, and they are the ones who actually have the say, the final say in the life of sports people. They decide who has to be selected, who has talent. It is not going to be unbiased. So how are we going to make sure that there is justice? And the speaker before me, Bharat, when he spoke, he was talking about Dronacharya. And I'd like to talk about another story in Dronacharya's life, where Ekalaiva, who belonged to a lower caste, a tribal person, who learned to shoot, I mean, he was so good as a archer. He was such a good archer, and he was better than Arjuna himself. But because he comes from a tribal community, scheduled community, he was deprived that, and his tongue was cut off. And that is the Dakshina Dronacharya, the great Dronacharya, wanted from his student. So the same caste has not gone away. The same caste politics, the same caste oppression is still there in sports today. How many children from Dalit communities, how many women get opportunities to play? When in a village, when people cannot touch each other, when they can't walk on the same streets, how will these children be allowed to play in a team? They will not. You know that team games like kabaddi or hockey, or yes, hockey, you're not allowed to play. So what are we going to do to reach out to these, to make sure that, I mean, we're not saying you will have to bring in reservation in this also, but at least you must do something to protect these people, to make sure, ensure there's justice to women. And you know what kind of a struggle it is for women to get into sports. It's not easy to convince the families. It's not easy. And when they come into sports, the kind of abuse, sexual abuse, the kind of abuse they have to face, how are we going to protect these women who come into sports? And what kind of importance do we give Paralympics? Nobody talks about it. Nobody cares. I think they have the same right. People who are differently abled have the same right as everybody else to express their talent. And trans people, they are not men, they are not women, so they have no space. Just give me a minute more. And I think today sports has moved on. We have to have science and coaching, science and activity together. The food, somebody has to monitor what their talent is, what their weakness is. And if there's a sports injury, you see so many of these sports people who are injured. And because they do not have access to facilities to make sure to correct these injuries, their life comes to an end. So how are we going to support these people? And I know this government does not approve of high protein diet in many cases, but sports people need high protein diet. We have to ensure that. So we have to understand that diet, science, everything has to be taken into consideration if we want to really see more sports people, more people coming into sports, and more young people to be encouraged in sports. And I'd also like to ask, why is it that our swimmers, natural swimmers from coastal areas, how many swimmers are encouraged from coastal areas?
Okay.
Why is it that no swimmer comes from coastal areas? They are born to swim, they know. But we do not encourage them. We have to consider all this. Thank you.